Hello wonderful Scouters, and welcome to your next activity in the winter challenge. So today, as you can see, I'm in my kitchen. That's because we're going to be doing pancakes on top of tin cans. So what you need to know, some safety before we start. Now if you're leaders, obviously you need to do your risk assessment and obviously continue to do your dynamic risk assessment, and you can always look at the information on this activity in the link that's provided with this video. So onto our bits of safety. Now, when we're doing this in the kitchen, obviously you do need your first aid kit at hand just in case you burn yourself, because we will be using tea light candles and cooking a pancake on top of a tin can. Okay, so I like to have a dampened cloth as well at hand just in case. Now my dampened cloth is over here. It's already been dampened, it's put under the sink. I'll just leave it over here so it's next to me, or near enough next to me because I need this space for cooking. So what else we need? Well, we need something to keep the heat away from my hands, so I use that same dampened cloth. All will become clear later when we start cooking. And obviously keep everybody else away and make sure everybody's dressed appropriately, because sometimes we're going to be using a little bit of oil as well, so if it spits you don't want to get on your bare skin. Alright, so use common sense, take a look at the information on the activity, and then plan it, do your risk assessment, and then we can crack on. So, what do we need? Well, oh, by the way, for most of these, you're not going to be seeing my face. You don't need my face anyway. You'll just be seeing my hands doing all the stuff, so I'm going to be in front of the camera right over here. Alright, so what do we need? Well, I'm using a tin can for this one. Spaghetti, doesn't really matter what it is, but it's an easy lid to open. So, we need that. Put that over here. I'm going to be using a piece of wood to stand it on because it gets a bit warm, you know, nice chopping board. Some tea light candles, because that's what we're going to be using for our heat source. Matches to light our candles with. And of course our wonderful pancake mix. Now you can make your own pancake mix, but if you're lazy like me, you just get one of these out of Sainsbury's. It only costs about £1. You just put the water in, shake it up, and you're good to go. All right, but it's up to you what you use. It's not a problem at all if you want to use something else. So, when you've opened your can and you've emptied out the contents, you don't need to throw the contents away. You can eat that later if you like. You need to be aware of the top. Now, I did one of these earlier. Looks like this when it's cleaned. You can take the paper off the outside because you don't want to set fire to that, and clean out the inside. Make sure it's nice and clean. And clean the top, make sure that's nice and clean as well, because you don't want any germs on there, because that's the bit we're going to be cooking on, so that's the most important part to keep clean. When you're cleaning this can, do be careful of these inside edges. They're very, very sharp, and you're likely to cut yourself if you're not careful. Alright, so be very careful when you do that. In fact, if possible, let one of the leaders do that, or a grown-up or another adult. Alright, just be very, very careful. So once we've got that, and we've got some oil. I use a spray-on oil, but it doesn't really matter what oil you use. Sometimes it's cooking oil, not engine oil. And well, unless you like engine oil, things tasting a bit chewy. But yes, cooking oil. All right. So what we need to do is think about things before we start. So if we have to have our candle lit, and we put the can straight on top of it, the candle's going to go out, because the candle needs to breathe. So there's got a number of options for you to get some air into this. Now what I like to do is I like to use a whole bunch of spare candles to make a tower to prop it up with, like a little stand, and then the air can get underneath and keep the candle lit. Doesn't always work, but it sometimes does. If you're industrious as a bit of a leader or as a bit of a youth member, you can get some holes bodged into the sides of these that the air get in. But again, depending on your age group, depending on what's available to you, will depend on if you use an adult for that job or not. So, to that end, let's make a start. First of all, I'm going to mix up the pancake mix. This is dead easy. Like I said, it's only £1 from Sainsbury's. But all I need to do is read the instructions on the back. It says on the back here that I've got to fill this up with water to the line. And the line, I don't know if you can make that out, the line is there. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to shake it up. So if you hear a bit of noise, it's just me banging it on the floor, because sometimes the powder gets stuck to the bottom and we don't want that. So let's get my water in there. There we go, that's my water. Put the cap back on. Now make sure the cap's on nice and tight because you're going to be shaking this up. You don't want this all over the kitchen, all right, all over your scout hall, all right? So just shake it up nice and tight. Keep your hand on the top. Give it a good shake. Might take a minute or two. Now if you can see on this, I've got some powder stuck at the bottom there, so I'm going to give that a bash on the floor. Right, that's got it. Put that over there to one side for a moment. Now it gets the exciting bit and also the more dangerous bit. I'm going to light my candles. If we pull the wick out, so it's ready to go. And I'm going to make my tower. Now like I said, this doesn't always go right first time round. So I might need to start again. But it's okay if things go wrong, because we're scouts and we'll scout it out, won't we? We'll sort it out by scouting it out. Right. Now then, this is going to be my tower. And hopefully that'll stay. But because these candles have got a very thin metal side, I should be able to get my can and balance it on the top. Like that. That's my plan. But like I said, doesn't always go to plan. Things sometimes go wrong. But we'll see what we can do. We'll see how it goes. Now, points to note on this one. This can's going to get very hot. Right? So you don't want to be tempted to pick it up with your fingers when it's lit. It will hurt. Hey, we're talking pain. Right? So don't touch it with your bare hands. Now, like I said earlier, I like to use my cloth when I'm touching this, and all I do is use it like you could use an oven glove if you've got one in the house, but I just like to use the edges of my cloth and just pick it up like that. See, just like that. So I can pick it up, put it back on as many times as I like without burning my fingers. All right. So that's what we're going to do. Now, obviously, I'm going to just put this on with my bare hands after I've lit it straight, because it's still cold. So don't be worried if you see me using my hands, because it's only just for the first bit. Alright, so I'm going to light my candles now. See how we get on. Here we go, get in there. Good, right. Candles are lit. Just straighten this up a little bit so I don't want it to fall over. Let the candles take. I'm going to put my can on top. I'll look underneath. It's already going out, that is. That's not going to work. Let's try another plan. I sometimes like to prop it up on knives and forks and things. So I'll try that way. See if that'll work. See if that's any better. It's all about the experimentation when you're in kitchens. So let's have a look. See if I can make this work a little better. Not too pleased with that. Let's try a different pattern. Got to do it in such a way that we still think or still feel that it's safe, you see. Oh, that could have it. That could have it. Let's Try and get 3 forks out the same, then at least I'll have the same weight. Or 3 spoons. Let's go for 3 spoons. I've got to find 3 spoons that are the same. Let's have a look here. Oh, there you go, 3 spoons at the same one, I think. So all I'm trying to do is have something that the can rest on that keeps air gaps under the bottom. So all we're trying to do here not very successful, are we? Let's bring that down a little bit. Nobody will mind if I bend my spoon. Let's see if that's level. Not quite. It's level enough. Right, we'll try that. I've got something to rest my can on. In fact, can you see that from there? Let me just put that back on there. I've got air gaps underneath there and around the 2 sides. So once the candle's lit, the air should be able to get under and keep the flame alight. So let's try that again. Like I say, it's okay if it doesn't always go right. It might take you a while. But it's worth the wait to have a pancake on top of a tin can. Right then, let that set itself off. Put my can back on top. Now, let's have a look. Right, my candle is lit. It is burning, I just can't see it very well. It's definitely on. It's gone out. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's gone out. Let's try. I think my wick's too small. Let's try a different candle. Sometimes if there's too much wax in the tea light, they don't stay lit. Let's try and get this a bit higher. Some big spoons instead. Boss spoons. Let's see if we can get that level. Not even close. Try that one. Yeah, that's a bit better. That's a bit more level. Right, try again. Right, here we go again. Right, just going to make sure it stays alight this time. Just give it a few minutes or a few seconds. So far so good, fingers crossed. No. Oh, hang on, it's still going. No, it's not happy. Right, we need to go even higher. So let's have a think. Oh, I know. I know. I might have been right the first time. I was just in the wrong place. See if that works as a platform. Yes, it does. Right. We'll get there. I promise you that, because I don't give in. Let's wait for my candle to take. I want it to stay lit. So I'm going to give it a chance to burn a little bit, just to get itself going. And hopefully we get a big enough flame to get some heat going, so I can so I can cook my pancake. Right, we'll try again. So far it seems to be happier. I don't know if you can make it out there. Look, you see I'll just put my hand here. You can see my candle's lit. Yeah, that seems to be a lot better. That's got it. We'll put my spoons away. Like I said earlier, it's all about the experimentation in kitchens. So just experiment with how much air you need and how much you don't, and then see what happens. I mean, every candle's slightly different, so it might take some jigging about a little bit. But once you've got it going, you've got it going. Now my can's going to be heating up, so we don't want to be touching this anymore with bare hands. Always go back to oven gloves, or like I've got my cloth. Now, got my oil. I'm going to put my oil, it's only a spray, on top of my can. I'm going to wait for it to heat up. There you go. That's my oil on. Put that out of the way. Going to wait for it to heat up now. You might be able to see some smoke rising off it. That's just the oil heating up. But as soon as I think it's warm enough, I'll put some pancake mix on and hopefully start cooking a decent pancake. Just going to give it a bit more of a shake. Candle's still lit. Right, I'm going to be brave. Put my pancake on. You don't need a lot of this. Just enough to spread out. That's enough on there. If you put too much on and you're not quite level, it'll concentrate on the one side and spill over the edge. You don't want that to happen. Make a big old mess in your kitchen. So now is a waiting game. Just got to wait. While we're waiting, start to have a bit of a tidy up. Put things away that you don't need, get stuff out of the way. Always though, keep a close eye on what's going on over here, just in case things fall over and makes a big old mess. I mean, we are dealing with fire, so don't walk away from it. Keep your eye on it and just wait. While I'm waiting though, I can have a think about what I might want to put on top of this pancake. So I'm thinking I'm going to use strawberry jam without the bits in, because I don't like the bits. But you can have what you like. Nutella, lemon, cinnamon and sugar mix, whatever you like. There's all sorts you can have, or just have it plain. Now this is cooking, it's just going to take a while because we haven't got much heat in there. Just got to wait, got to take our time. working out nicely. It's going darker on the top. So when you see it go fully dark across the whole of the top, that's one side done. And you can try and be brave and flip it over. But again, don't touch it with your bare hands. You'll be tempted to, but it's a mistake if you do. You'll regret it. Always use your cloth. Keep your hands covered. All right? So it's been cooking for a few minutes now, and it's starting to go nice and bubbly on the one side, but it's still raw on the other side. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and pick this can up, turn it around and put it back on again. Hopefully this won't wreck anything, so we'll be very careful. I'll get my cloth. We'll see if I can make this work. I'm going to fold it up a little bit to make it a bit more manageable for me. Right, keep my fingers away from it. Pick it up, put it down, turn it around, and put it back on. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to wait a few more minutes and see if we can get the rest of this to cook on the other side. Because we want it to do really nice and well so we can actually eat it and enjoy it. There's nothing worse than eating a raw pancake, is there? So that's better, it's cooking nicer now. It's going dark on this side. I'll pick up the camera in a minute and I'll show you before I turn it over. In fact, no, I won't. I'll pick up the can and show the can to the camera. That'd be easy, wouldn't it? Right, I'll do that in a minute. So as soon as I think it's ready to be turned over, that's what I'll do. It's got a while to go yet though. It's getting there. It's always worthwhile being a little bit patient with these, because if you turn them over too soon, they break apart and you just get mash. So just wait a little bit. The longer the better. Yeah, because it's what's happening at the moment. I don't think whether you can see or not. I'll show you. Look, can you see it's popping up on the one side next to my hand? I've got my hand well away from this, by the way. I'm just putting this here so you can see. Let's see if I can find something darker to show you on. Let's have a look in my marvellous kitchen here. Let's use this. Get another wooden board. So I don't knock anything over, do I? Now, just behind the can there, roughly where my finger is, you can see it popping up. It's bubbling a little bit. That's because it's cooking really nicely now. So we like that. That's where most of the heat is for this. So the reason why I put it over there, over that way, is so that I can start it cooking on the one side, so it'll be ready to turn over soon. Now what we're going to do for turning it over, I am going to take the can off the heat, put it down on my wooden board, and I'm going to try and use a little fork. I've got a fancy spoony fork, but it doesn't really matter what you use. Just try and get it underneath there, turn it over, put it back on the heat, and then we'll see how we go. But not yet though, it's got to wait a little bit longer. It's nearly there. I just want to be making sure that it's cooked properly. So I tried this with the cubs a few weeks ago and I was a little bit excited, and I turned it over too soon and it still broke to pieces. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer this time. But we're very, very nearly there. Let's have a quick dig. Oh yeah, this is looking good. In fact, I think I'm going to go and try and turn it over. Let's have a go at turning it over. Get my cloth again, my damp cloth. Put it on the edges, not my bare hands, keep my fingers away from it. Make it over there. Just rebuild my stand, so I've knocked it over a little bit. Now, still again, not touching it with your bare hands. I'm going to try turn my pancake over. This is looking much better than last week. Just take your time, work your way around the edges so it's not stuck to the edges. That's it, nice and easy, nice and slow, because it's not a race. If it is a race, it's a race of one. There's only me here. It's a bit stuck on that side, so I'm going to go from this side first. Let's use a different fork. You could use a knife as well. In fact, should we use a knife? Yeah. Yeah, why not? We'll use a knife. In fact, I should have used a knife in the first place, shouldn't I? Get underneath there. In fact, I forgot to show you, didn't I? We'll just pick that up. That's my pancake there on the top. Alright. Now let's get this turned over. I can hear you all taking bets on whether I'm going to be able to do this or not without breaking it to tiny pieces. But we're getting there. Put this back over a little bit. It's stuck in the middle. Oh, look at this. Oh yes, got it all in one part, look at that. Now I'm going to turn it over. There we go. I've turned it over without breaking it into tiny pieces. Now I'm going to put it back on my heat. Cook it some more. Let's put this fork over there so it's ready for being washed up later on. Now I've just got to wait some more. It shouldn't take much longer now. I think why it's taking a bit long is because I put a little bit too much oil on at the beginning. I got overexcited with the oil. But it's a bit brown in the middle. I just like it to be a bit more browner everywhere else as well. So we're going to wait a bit longer. Be all nice and patient, not race. Because we're in a race of one. And what we'll do is, I'll move the camera in a minute so you can see the pancake on top of here. So I think this one's looking pretty good. It's not bad today. It's starting to go a bit brown on the edges. It's going to take a bit, it takes a while, it does take a while. But normally, you know, you've got other people around you, you've got things to do and things to think about and other people to talk to. Particularly if you're working as a patrol, if you're in the scouts, you know, as a patrol, and do this between you, or if you're brave enough, do one each. But yeah, this can work very well. Just got to take our time. Just got to make sure everything's safe around us. Just got to make sure about our first aid. Just got to make sure that we're not messing around when we're doing this. You know, we've got to have our proper serious heads on when we're doing this one. Starting to bubble and fry around the edges now, which is really good. That's a good sign. Again, most of my heat is on this side, so I might turn my can around again in a few minutes. But it's frying nicely now. This will be the time to show you on my camera, wouldn't it? Let's move the camera very carefully, because I've got it propped up. Then let's have a look here. There we go. Don't know if you can make that out, but it's bubbling away on the outside there. You might even be able to hear it. So don't worry if it's still a bit pale. All that means is it's not quite cooked yet. It takes a bit longer. So again, like I said before, it's not a race. I'm going to try and rebalance my camera so you can see what I'm doing. Forgive me if it's a bit wobbly, but I will get there. There we go. Let's move this a bit closer towards you. Yeah, it's cooking nicely now. This won't take much longer. Very nearly there. I just like it to be a bit browner, because when you saw it on the camera there, it's a little bit see-through, a little bit sort of bit pale. But it's very, very close. Now with pancakes, it's a bit like frying eggs. They're individual to all of you. So you can have this as cooked as much or as little as you feel like it. Alright, obviously if it's burnt, you ruin it, but you've got plenty of mix in here to crack on and do some more. Or like we did last week with my cubs, we practiced with one and then made some proper ones on a frying pan in the cooker with everything else. But it's up to you guys what you want to do, but it's a nice little thing to do. You can even do it outside when you're camping, which is nice, because you just need this kit, you know, some candles, some matches and your tin can. And when you're camping, there's plenty of those tin cans knocking about, so it's just make sure it's clean and tidy. Watch your fingers on the sharp edges. And have a good go at it and see what you think. Now, we're almost there. I keep saying we're almost there because it's me being overexcited, isn't it? But we'll see what we can do. We'll wait a bit longer. I want it nice and brown on the edges, so it's not yellow. I don't like it yellow. I want it well done. So we'll see. I might even be ambitious and get a little plate. Let's have a look. It's handy being in the kitchen and not in a campsite. Yeah, got my little plate. I'll put that over here. Put my damp cloth back where I found it. I think what I'm going to do is turn that over one more time. Shall I turn it over one more time? What do you think? One more turn over? Yeah, one more turn over. Let's have a look. Get my cloth. turn your pancake over. Yeah, it's looking nice on the one side now, that is. There we go. I won't move my camera again to show you, just take my word for it, it's nice and brown on this side now. So what I've got to do is get the other side to match it, and then we're good to go, alright? A few more minutes. Not long at all, it's already bubbling on the top, whereas before, last time I turned it over, I lost a lot of heat, because I took too long, I did it too slow. But this is going much, much better now. I definitely put too much oil on. If you're going to do this, use the oil sparingly, but still make sure it goes to the edges. You could put some oil on a damp piece of kitchen roll and just rub it in or rub it on. You could use a bit of butter or a bit of margarine, even do the same thing, just rub it into the edges and make sure it's all there. Obviously this is when it's still cold, not when it's hot. Alright, and then heat it up, put your pancake mix on. But I just put too much oil on there. Again, like I said, I got overexcited. Well, I'm going to say that's done. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take it off. And then I'm going to blow my candle out. Alright, now I'm going to get my pancake off the tin can, put it on my plate. Then I'm going to move this out of the way. So it's nice and safe. You can't see that, can you? It's too bright with the light. Oh, there it is. That there. Just try and get. Trying to show. Oh, there you go. Trying to shade the light a little bit. That there is my pancake. It is cooked. You can see the dark bits of it. What I'll have to do then, put my jam on and eat it. So that's basically it. That's doing pancakes on top of tin cans. So have a good go with it, have a play, put your comments in the boxes below, and of course check out the guide on how to do it on that link, and let us know how you get on. Now I'm going to say goodbye to all, so I'm going to eat this bad boy, and I'll see you on our next activity. Alright, so thanks for joining, and I'll see you again soon. Oh, enjoy Christmas, have a good season, enjoy the new year. I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.